right, good morning, good evening, everybody. I tricked myself. We're going to start off this council meeting with a prayer from Pastor Rodney of the Assembly Church RKM. Pastor Rodney, microphone is yours.
Thank you, sir. If you all stand to your feet, okay, you're already doing it. Good job. You've been here a time or two. Good job. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, Coronians. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus. Father, we want to thank you for bringing us here safely. Father, I pray over this City Council meeting. I pray that you give us wisdom and give us guidance, Father. Father, maybe glorify and please you. Father, let everything we say and do be edifying to you. Father, lead us and guide us in the decisions and the items that are set before you tonight. We wish to please you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, I don't know if many of you guys know this, but we have scoured the city of Corona and we have found the coolest 9-year-old kid out there, and that's what I'm doing. Look here, Ellis. You try to get on a roll here. So everybody but the city manager has been scouring the city of Corona for the coolest kid. And Wesley is the coolest kid, and he's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Wesley, here you go.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Wesley. Thank you, Ellis. And with that, that's the coolest kid in Corona. Nobody tell my kids. All right, at this time, we're going to convene open session, call the meeting to order. Individuals wishing to address the city council are requested to fulfill a speaker card. They're blue, they're in the back, or they're up here, and just give them to Sylvia over here on your left, and you can speak all you want. We're going to do some proclamations, and if possible, I would like to invite Robin Jones and Rosalind Romero to the podium to receive the Red Ribbon Proclamation. Did I get that right? Oh, you guys are here. I think you should bring a couple students. None of you are 9 years old, right? Okay. Oh, it'd have been horrible. All right, we're here for Red Ribbon Week. Robin, can I give this? Oh. Okay, I'll do this. We're celebrating Red Ribbon Week. The theme is Life is a Movie, film drug free. So for all you camera enthusiasts, there you go. Do any of you guys want to speak? You guys want to share your name and school if you like? Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Rosalind Romero. I go to Eleanor Roosevelt High School.
Hi, I'm Sam Kafala. I'm in 11th grade and I go to Santiago High School.
Hi, my name is Ryder Jones and I go to Norco Intermediate and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Robin Jones. I work with these youth in a youth advocacy council through the Corona Norco Unified School District. These are our student leaders here with me today.
Robin, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you tell me something great about Red Ribbon Week?
It has a lot of great art that advocates for living drug-free, and that's pretty amazing.
Go ahead. Let's just go down the
Ribbon Week?
Everything's great about Red Ribbon Week. Robin summed it up perfectly. With that, we're going to take a picture. Tell me your name again. Sam, can you hold the proclamation? And we'll take a picture. Well, if you can't beat Red Ribbon Week, up next is Fire Prevention Week. So Cindy Schmitz, our illustrious fire marshal, who gets younger by the year. What are you, 30s now? Barely in the 30s? Okay. So I'm not good at speaking.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll hold it.
That's fair enough. You're welcome. So if you guys didn't know, Fire Prevention Week starts this Sunday. So your Corona Fire Department is going to kick off Fire Prevention Week with open houses at Station 5 and 6. Station 5 being Green River and Canyon Crest. Station 6 being Upper and Main. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have our goat friends at Station 6. So please visit them. At both stations, we will also have our Corona firefighters. Come check out their equipment, come check out their house, see how they live, daily duties, all that good stuff. And we'll also have Fire Safe Corona there. That is our nonprofit organization, local, community-based, and they focus on wildfire prevention and planning. So come by, ask questions. We'd love to have you there and hope to see you Saturday.
And kids can shoot the water hose as a car's driving by, right? It would be. All right, let's get the picture. I heard you. Well, we got all sorts of weeks. Up next is Water Professional Week. Would like to invite Tom Moody, Director of Utilities, and Katie Hockett, the great Katie Hockett. You got promoted, Assistant Director of Utilities, to the podium to receive the proclamation. Tom. Oh, and all the better people as well. Yeah, so it's.
I'd like to thank everybody. This is a great week for us as water professionals because it takes a whole team for us to be able to provide water and sewer services to our community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this group does everything from customer care phone calls to site visits to help people with leaks, to water treatment, to mechanics fixing and repairing the infrastructure that's in the treatment plants and out in the field, and computer systems that help us operate. So it's a big round of applause to these folks for all that they do and all the other folks that aren't here with us tonight that serve this community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we're really proud of them, and this is just one week that we get to celebrate that with everybody.
How did I look, Sean?
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Okay. Up next, another recognition. I know you guys are hoping for more. It's the Support Sisters. I would like to invite Adrian Showalter, President of Support Sisters, to the podium. Us girls have to stick together. So, who wants to hold and who wants to speak? Here you go. And there you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are a local nonprofit, and we provide emotional and financial assistance for women and men with breast cancer and women with gynecological cancer in the cities of Corona, Norco, Eastvale, and surrounding areas. And we're having a walk coming up. There are 8 of us, but we have multiple events going on tonight, so we've had to split up. but we are really appreciative of this honor. But we do have a walk coming up. It's called Combat Cancer Walk, and it's October 19th. Registration starts at 7 a.m. and it's at Dos Lagos this year. And we're going to have a lot of fun things for the kids. We have Home Depot, Southern California Garrettson, face painting, balloon, origami. We have Santiago's marching band, at least the drummers, and the madrigals that are going to be there. And we're going to be walking around the lake, and it's going to be just super fun. The funds raised, like I said, go directly to the women. We're all volunteers, so none of the money goes anywhere else but to our women that we help.
And it's mandatory combat boots for this walk? Okay.
So we have some flyers.
Okay, well, before we take pictures, can everybody clap for the support sisters? Well, I think you guys got more clap than the fire marshal. Sean, can we take some pictures? Should any council member attend the walk at Dos Lagos, feel free to push them in the lake. Okay. Up next, recognition for Eagle Glen Firewise community. I'd like to invite Bob Livingston, Dan Heredia, and Shirley Tower. Is Shirley here? Where's Shirley at? All right, Shirley. And Shirley Hayes to the podium to receive the recognition. You want to do this?
You can give him that. I just wanted to take a minute to honor our very first Firewise community in the city of Corona, which is Eagle Glen. This is a nationally recognized certification that they have, and it's a testament to their commitment to wildfire preparedness and prevention. That being said, it took all of them as a community, to look around and better prepare their home and their neighborhoods. And I just wanted to thank you guys for the dedication and hard work. We spent countless hours doing something we didn't know how to do, but we all muddled through it. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Bob Livingston and Melanie Stein-Kirshner. Close enough. So thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you being here, and you're on a 3-year plan, so let's keep it up. I also want to say to anyone, shameless plug, if you guys want to become a Firewise community, please come see me. I will get you there, I promise.
Cindy, can you explain what the benefits are for the community for that program? And I mean, thank you for everybody that worked hard. I mean, they were actually out looking at vegetation and all kinds of fun stuff and getting information back. But what's the benefit of being a Firewise community?
So right now, it really is more of a education and awareness program. So bringing it home, right? You're looking at your neighbors, you're walking around, you're checking everything out. You know, you're having eyes on your neighborhood, kind of like a neighborhood watch for PD. It's very similar. And then you're walking around, you know, maybe you see some neighbors need help or they need trees trimmed or things like that. So you're really taking it as a community, starting with your home, the community, and then allowing us to do what we do on our end. The benefits, we have seen some minimal benefits to insurance rates. I have seen like a 2% here or there. It really depends on the company, but I really hope it catches on.
Yeah, so.
I think we have around 900 in the state, so we'll just keep chipping away.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hang on. Can we clap? And let's take a picture. Okay. All right. Is Aiden Hernandez here? Aiden, come on up. Aiden, if you don't know, or well, for everybody that, Aiden, you know you got this, but for everybody else, Aiden Hernandez is now an Eagle Scout. Oh. On the way there. I'd teach you how to get the politician merit badge. Oh. Okay. If you don't know, Aiden hasn't been officially awarded the rank of Eagle yet, but he has earned his Eagle Scout. And what are you holding up here?
These are the bags I made. This one is for women who are going through breast cancer, and this one is for children going to cancer. I made 50 of each, 100 in total. The women's are going to Support Sisters, and the children's are going to Victoria Sparks of Joy, which will be going to the LA Hospital and Wanda McDonald's Hospital as well.
And Aiden would like to present you with this proclamation. And then I will start this off. Let's see if you can finish it, okay? A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous,
Kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
and hungry. All right, congratulations, Aiden, and we'll take a picture. I get to hold this one.
Can't blame you.
Yeah, like flex it though. Sylvia, are there any speaker cards?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this agenda item.
Okay, thank you one and all. Aiden, congratulations. Everybody else, congratulations. I know you all don't want to stay for the rest of this meeting, but you're more than welcome to. Well, we trapped Sean. Okay, up next is meeting minutes. Miss Edwards, are there any speaker cards from the public for the meeting minutes?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for the meeting minutes.
Is there a motion and a second? There is. Feel free to vote. Christy, do you want to speak?
Yeah, you know, hey, just listen, but reports of my demise have been much exaggerated.
Councilmember Daddario, can I please get your voice vote?
Hello? Why is she talking over me? That was too good of a line to make me start over, man. Come on.
Yes.
Anyway, you guys tell me when you're ready here.
Go ahead.
So I should have an extra 30 seconds on the clock.
All right, take the 30 seconds.
Okay. So anyway, they arrested me again yesterday. Now, I went to church about, I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe a month ago. And this church has been great. But the people are starting to really love me because I dance like somebody that was at a Taylor Swift concert when I'm talking about Jesus, you know? And they're like, man, I wish I could do that. But I just can't, man, because I know that people are going to judge me. And so they seen people coming around me. And the security came out with me to the car, and I told them, you know, you guys really, it's malpractice to have me in here wearing this shirt and not sit down with me, okay, and know my doctrine. And I think it didn't start at 3, but never mind that. Not know my doctrine. It's malpractice. You get people, you know, I don't believe in kids smoking pot. I don't believe in anybody really under 26. That's why I won't give any pot away to anybody under 21 unless they have a recommendation, okay? And then I'll, you know, I just do it to share Jesus. I'm not trying to get rich. I take $1,000 at least. I spend it. It gets me $5,000 worth because people love me, okay? And then I can give it away. And I want to scale, and I want to get this motorhome going that I died in. And then I learned how to go to heaven. And I found it a couple times how to get there, like 4 times. And then I just found myself there. So I look over there, and I see a city on a hill. but it's like, I mean, a hill that shouldn't be there, and it looks like like a Milky Way. It's there every day, and then sometimes God sparkles it and plays the little lights off to something or other, kind of, you know what I mean? But no big deal. You shouldn't put me in jail for that, okay? I tell the truth about the Word of God. It's not just, I'm retiring, man. I'm done, because when I tried to learn Siri so I could do the lawsuit against you guys and get you guys for stopping to, you know, molesting my kids, you know, and you did it years ago, then you made me a criminal. But then I made $100,000 a year for Disneyland, tuning a $150 million roller coaster that has the same technology as my Tesla 3 that I just got freaking for $24,000. The fastest freaking production car you can buy anywhere near the price, but I got a really good deal on one, man. And it is my roller coaster. And with me driving, it is a roller coaster. And so the first 2 Tesla series that failed, well, I can fix that because I'm the guy that did it for Scientific Systems when they didn't even know how. And I was the ghost of the machine. The guys gave me the code, so I'd go up and I'd show them their problem, and I'd have it sitting there waiting when they came in and was wondering why the machine wasn't working. It had everybody, $150 million ride, and I'm fixing it all the time. And it was 2 years before they freaking figured out it was me. And then I was the, what was that? The project lead for Scientific Systems. And I'd plan $1 million jobs and keep the ride up the whole time. I mean, $6, $7, $8 million if somebody else did it. I did it for $1 million, okay? But anyway, eventually people get tired of hearing me talk. You could understand, right, manager? You know what I mean? And so they fire me, you know? But what you guys do is try to put me in jail, okay? And with your chief that's not here today, he just thinks that he can silence me because I can't write very well. I need my computer. They don't let you have your phone in jail. They don't let you have nothing. So if they put you in the cage and you don't know nobody's number but your wife, and she wants to keep you there, then you stay there. And when the child molester's trying to get your kid, and he's using the cops to...
Hey, Chris. Okay, moving along, consent calendar. Would all items listed on the consent calendar are considered to be routine matters, status reports, or documents covering previous city council action. The items listed on the consent calendar may be enacted in one motion. With the concurrence of the city council, a council member or any person in attendance may request an item be removed for further consideration. Would my colleagues like to pull any items for
7.4.
7.4? Jackie and Wes. Jim?
Nothing.
Sylvia, is there anybody from the audience?
Mayor, we did not receive any speaker cards for the consent calendar.
Okay. With that, do we have a motion? Can you put up the button, Sylvia? Oh, boy. You lose one vote last time, Dario, and it just hasn't worked since.
Sylvia, I saw him doing this. He was just
on purpose.
Yes.
He was trying to play a video game, I think.
Council members, speak your vote.
It's not. You can't
Can I get your voice vote, council member speak?
Oh, that couldn't have gone any better. All right, 5-0. So let's move on over to 7.4. Acceptance and appropriation of the Riverside County Transportation Commitment Senate Bill 125, Transit and Intercity Rail Capital. Jackie, Wes is more of a nerd on you when it comes to stuff like this, so do you want to take it from here, Wes?
I think I'm going to cover one part, and Jackie's probably going to cover the other. But I just wanted to say publicly thank you to the new executive director at RCTC for helping push this through. And this SB 135 money was on the chopping block and really early in the process. And RCTC to make sure that we got an allocation was just awesome. So I just wanted to publicly say thank you to RCTC and especially to Aaron.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So,
Oh, I thought
good
you were
job.
going to say something else.
No, I was going to say thank you. I was there was a lot of behind the scenes activity and organizing in order to get this, to show support for the Senate bill, and then afterwards to allocate these funds for the McKinley grade separation. And so sometimes when these items are just on the agenda and it's, we vote on them, it seems like not a big deal, but this is a huge deal, and it's helping with this massive infrastructure project for the city. And so we're very grateful, and I want to say thank you to RCTC, the entire team, and in particular, new executive director, Aaron Hake. So thank you.
All right, Aaron, I know you're out there listening, so tell your wife you're awesome. With that, Sylvia, are there any speaker cards?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item.
Okay. Does anybody else want to make comments about Aaron? Nope. Just push buttons.
Yes.
Wes, you want to chime in yes now, or? And it went through 5-0. Okay, communications from the public. This portion of the agenda is intended for general public comment on items within the council's jurisdiction that are not listed elsewhere on the agenda. Please note that state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on these items. Please observe a 3-minute limit for comments, and once called upon to speak, please state your name and city of residence for the record. Ms. Edwards, are there any blue cards?
Mayor, yes, we have 4 speaker cards for communication from the public.
Okay, come and speak as you will. They're coming. Welcome.
Good evening, council members, staff, guests. My name is Becky Floyd. I live in Corona, and I'm president of the Corona Art Association. And I just wanted to stop by and thank the city council and staff for their support of the nonprofit tenants of the historic Civic Center, such as ourselves. And even though we are a very small nonprofit community arts organization, we put in maximum effort to bring art to all ages and abilities in this region, including as many city events as possible. We were, for example, out at all but one of the street fairs this summer, bringing many volunteers and lots of kids' art and crafts to the community at no charge. We'll be open on October 12th for Halloween weekend, giving out candy and inspiring art. And we hope that the city values the many, many hours of services that our members donate to help further the city's goals and objectives, as well as our own. The other reason that I'm here tonight is to personally invite all of you and everyone watching online to join us for our second annual Beaux-Arts Ball. This is a fundraising gala. This year it is co-sponsored by the City of Corona, and it will be held at the Circle City Center on Saturday, October 26th from 6 to 10 p.m. This is our signature event in which we raise funds and at the same time showcase the boundless talent and creativity of our artists and members. You will not believe what they have come up with. It's truly amazing to fit this year's Through the Looking Glass Alice in Wonderland theme. It's going to blow you away. There'll be dinner, DJ, dancing, games, prizes, silent auction. Tickets are just $50 per person. We also have splendid sponsorship packages available. Please visit our website, coronaartassociation.org, to learn more and get your tickets to the ball. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Ms. Floyd, before you step away, I just want to say thank you for the Art Association participating. We did 4 tours of the Historic Civic Center this past year, and your staff was fantastic, always open to have folks come in, and they had a great drawing of what a hand-drawn or a imagined drawing of what the building used to look like. So I wanted to say thank you for going the extra effort and always being open for folks to come in and tour. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more question. Is this a black tie event?
It's either a costume or black tie. We're not going to turn you away at the door if you don't, but we thought it would be more fun that way.
You in a black tie would be a costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like a theme, like a costume theme?
Well, this year's theme is Through the Looking Glass or Alice in Wonderland, but you don't have to dress to fit the theme.
I happen to have an Alice in Wonderland costume.
I would love to see that.
Well, it's one of the Tweedles.
Hi. You definitely have to come.
Okay. Does anybody have any other costume questions for Becky, or we're good? All right. Thank you, Becky. Anybody? There was 4 speaker cards. Does anybody? Joe? Go for broke.
Here, it doesn't seem like this is working too good, or maybe, I don't know. You can't really hear anybody in the back of the room. So as many things that I comment about negatively around here, the one thing that I've been consistent the whole time that I've been here, and good times and bad, friendly or less friendly, the city's always run very fair and open meetings, and you don't play games. You give people a chance to talk, and I really appreciate that. And I've said at least a few times that's a big contrast to the school district. So just to let you know the kind of games that they play, there was a commenter a couple meetings back who had comments about somebody who was running for the school board and about her personal activities or whatever, of which I could care less about, but said, well, they shouldn't be associating with trustees. So they were commenting on a candidate and connecting her to the trustees and talking, say, well, you shouldn't associate with them, this person and that person. You shouldn't be doing this or that. I can't think of anything more directly right down the middle of the road for the First Amendment, or the whole purpose of the Brown Act, or being able to speak at a public meeting, is to address the board and to talk about their conduct or how they should do things or how they should behave. And guess what the school district did? They took the meeting minutes down, and they took the video of it down, and they're trying to scrub the public comments of the person and trying to pull it down because the person who was running for school board threatened to sue. And it just blows me away. Just absolutely blows me away that somebody ever thought that was a good idea, or that you could think that was even remotely legal to do, or just wild. And just the way that they have a general, you have to turn in your card between this time and that time. They don't allow anybody to turn anything over unless the dude with the suit comes over and collects it. This is really sort of, papers, please sort of a thing. It's not open. They don't, there's never been a time that I wanted to speak, that I couldn't speak. Even the other day when the mobile home people came up and, were sort of bogarting back up here, I got a chance to come up here because they got a chance to come up here. You guys have always run a very fair and open meeting, and I want to call attention to that because it's worth noting, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
One of my favorite park council guys, I see him as just as much. And again, no, I like our mayor, I like the guy that sits right there too. I'm terrible at names. I'm sorry. I knew it a couple minutes ago, but I got this random access memory problem, you know what I mean? But my hard drive, I fill it up by listening to the Word of God, or Enoch, or Book of Adam and Eve, anything in Hebrew, okay? Anything in Hebrew. If it was written in Hebrew before Jesus, it's good, and the Jews hide that stuff. It's a conspiracy of silence. That's what they do. They have a silent Torah, and that's what he was just talking about. Let's scrub the stuff that could get us in trouble, okay, for not believing in Jesus. Everything that, these other books are so freaking, you can't miss Jesus. He says, I'm coming down to eat with you in 5.5 days. I meant 5,500 years. He made it. And then they don't want to believe he ate with him. But never mind all that. You guys are not doing nothing. City manager, listen, cease and desist immediately. They better not come to my fucking house again and try to fucking put me in jail. I don't know if I have a no contact restraining order now. I haven't been served with one. I know that I had a non-negative, and my wife uses it to freaking say, I'm calling the cops 7 times a day. When I went to church, and they thought, we better call the cops and ask him not to come back. And then we better put hands on him to do so. Now, you've never treated me like that. I've always said, don't touch me. I got my camera. It's like, I got my camera. Don't touch me. You don't have to touch me. I might kick your ass if you do, because you will see that I didn't do anything. And you don't need to touch me. And I'm not going to stand like a perp. I'm not going to sit on your curb so you feel better, because you got to have women on the force that don't have the balls to stand to a man that could take their gun away, like they do it on the news, okay? Or men that I could take their gun away, okay? Because that's what I do to people all the time. All the time. When you put a gun to me, I minister on the streets at like 2, 3 in the morning to murderers, and they put a gun to me, and I take it away, okay? So stop taking little girls to my house and saying I'm under arrest that don't have the balls to come in my house, unless my wife freaking sneaks them in, okay? And they put the dog in, and they put him on me after I'm handcuffed, and then say, "Oh no, that was policy." And then when I tell you child molesters are living at my house and murderers, you don't do anything. You guys don't do nothing. The cop don't do nothing, but it's against the law, so he had to turn himself in, just like my wife will do. She's going to turn herself in because Jesus does live in her. He lives in all of you. You're all Christians, man. Everybody in the world is held together by Christ. You're a Christian, whether you know it or not. And guess what? Muslims have a better chance than Christians do, because they're not using Christ's name in vain. Excuse me if they don't freaking understand the Trinity. Neither do you. And none of you can pass a test on it. You know, none of you. You haven't read the books. You don't care. I listen to it while I sleep. And that's when I wake up and I'm dreaming.
Sylvia, are there any other speaker cards?
Mayor, yes, I have one more speaker card for communication from the public.
Who is it?
David Hernandez.
David, you're not here to kill Santa Claus, are you?
Santa Claus, no, I'm not here to kill Santa
Okay, then speak your mind.
How you guys doing? I hope you guys had a great day. It's pretty hot out there. As I've been here like a couple meetings, and the community of Corona has had difficult times with the homeless people.
Hang on one second, David. Okay, go ahead.
As I've been here a couple times to the meetings, everybody comes. I've seen a lot of homeless people out in the streets, and people that I've dealt with, like medication problems, like that needs to see doctors. What has the city done or the Hope Team done to help them out?
Go ahead. Sorry, double interruption.
Yeah. What has the city done to help out the homeless and the people that are out there that are not all there?
Go ahead, Jim.
Sir, how long have you been in town?
How long have I been in town? I've been in town for a while. I'm a Corona baby.
So
I've lived in
have you
Corona.
not been following our whole homeless strategic plan that we've been doing?
Oh
for the
yeah,
last-
I have. And there's
Okay.
there's still homeless people here. There's new ones that are coming all around.
Well, I thought you would know then, but we have opened a homeless shelter. We've opened a permanent supportive housing shelter. We've doubled the size of our Hope Team. We have a motel voucher program. We've got behavioral health specialists that operate out of City Hall that respond straight to the incidents to meet with people. We have our CityNet, a group of social workers that go down to the parks and the encampments and try to encourage these folks to take services.
Yeah. And then
We're doing a shitload.
Yeah, I know you guys are doing. I appreciate what you guys.
I think what you're saying is that why are there still people there?
Yeah,
and
why are-
because there's a law that allows us, that doesn't allow us to take sick people off the street.
Because they don't want help.
You can't
Oh.
force.
You can't
someone.
force them.
Yeah. So if there's somebody, I've seen it a couple times, numerous times. I got videos where people are shooting up in front of Starbucks, or shooting up in front of hotels, or shooting up at gas stations, and the cops come out, and what do? They don't arrest them.
There's no teeth in the laws anymore for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
And that's
just let them
bigger
be.
than Corona.
So we're doing a heck
But
of a
we're
lot.
doing everything we can. We lobby our state we get our state reps, tell them, how this is impacting local residents, what we need support on. We've invested more money in enforcement. We've invested more money in assistance. But truly, this isn't just a Corona problem.
Yeah. And then one more last question. The sign in the front, it says Corona. Are you guys moving that sign, or is it staying there?
Which sign?
The sign that's lit up in Corona, and is it in the front?
You talking about the one that's in front of the historic civic center?
Yeah. Is that being moved?
Yeah.
We're going to be moving it.
Was possibly moving that.
It's
in
in
the
the
process.
process.
To the back.
I may be chained to that before they allow that to happen. But
I might chain
yeah,
to it.
It's not. That's something that I would like to see that sign go. I'd like to keep that sign where
I
it's
mean,
at.
we're not destroying the sign. It's just going to go somewhere else.
So David, we're moving the sign, Tony and Jackie, to another location.
We're all going together. It's a package deal.
All right, then.
David, I want to follow up with something really quick because for me personally, it touched a little bit of a nerve. We do an awful lot to really work with the homeless folks in our community, and like they said, there's laws that prevent us from anybody just being taken off of the street. So I sympathize with the fact that you're up here asking about what about the ones that we see doing things and police aren't able to take them. It's not just a unique problem to Corona. It's unique to all of California, really, and that's got to do with the lawmakers at the state level. But I will tell you, I am very proud, as I believe all of my colleagues are, very proud of the work that we're doing to combat homelessness in our city. And quite frankly, if other cities hear about it, who knows if they're shipping their homeless to us because we have an actual plan. We've got protections in place to take care of our own. We're big on that here. But if you're seeing these things, please don't hesitate to call the police department, call 911 and report these things. Not the non-emergency number, because we need to know. But I really want to stress that we are doing an awful lot, and we're spending a lot of money, and we have an actual complete plan that is taking people from on the streets all the way through recovery into permanent supportive housing, if they choose, and that's the key. If they choose,
And they don't choose. They won't choose to
Yeah,
get on
I think that-
and we can't force them to.
I would say if you want to help in that respect, the law needs to change at the state level. So write your state representative and tell them that you want there to be involuntary commitment of people that can't take care of themselves. And right now, there was a step toward it, but it's been kind of cut off. And you had to have somebody that has schizophrenia and proven, and in the end, they can still opt out. So I've said this a million times, that we won't leave a sick animal on the street, but we'll leave a sick human being. And it's sad to me, but unfortunately, it's a legal issue that we can't broach.
And David, we're allocating $8 million a year out of our general fund to address the homeless problem in Corona.
So it's not for lack of trying. It's bigger than Corona.
Yes, and then it used to be the Aries right here by Miguel's. Are you guys drug testing the homeless people that live?
It's not
in
our
there?
facility.
No.
That's a private facility that is co-sponsored by the county, and we're very fortunate to have that in our community because that is permanent supportive housing.
For residents that were on the street, Corona residents that were on the street. So it's the folks that were formerly on the street are now housed. That's what you want to see.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, David. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, with that, communications from the public was interesting and closed. We're going to move on to public hearings. Number 9.1, public hearing and election for annexation number 39 into Community Facilities District number 2016-3. Does any council member want a staff report on this item? Okay. Kim, you're off the hook. The public hearing is now open. Ms. Edwards, do we have to have comments on this? Public comments or?
Yes, we do, and it's on the mayor's agenda for you.
Just read it off, right? Okay. Ms. Edwards, do you have proof of publication and mailing of the notice of the public hearing?
Yes, I do.
Have any written protests been received?
We have not received any written protest.
Are there any registered voters within the area to be annexed to the CFD, and if so, how many?
There are no registered voters.
That's overwhelming. Have the owners of all taxable property proposed to be annexed to the CFD agreed to hold the special election October 2nd, 2024?
Yes, they have.
Do you agree to hold the special election on October 2nd, 2024?
Yes, I do.
All right. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to, oh, there it is. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to comment or has questions regarding this item?
We did not receive any speaker cards for this item.
Okay, the public hearing is now closed. This item will require 2 motions. Do we have a motion and a second? We do.
Yes.
All right, 5-0. Ms. Edwards, have you received any ballots and have canvassed the ballots and tallied the results?
Yes, I have.
There's a lot of work there in 1 minute. Okay.
Sorry, Mayor. And the ballot that I did receive, votes cast are in favor of levying the special taxes.
You received 1 ballot. All right, someday someone's gonna have to explain all that to me. Moving along. 9.2.
Mayor, there needs to be a motion and a second for this item.
Good grief. I thought it already passed. 5-0.
Yes.
Sylvia, the person to the right of me is making fun of me. Are we good with all this?
We need your vote, Mayor.
Oh, damn it. Okay, 5-0. Now we're done with this? Let's never do that again. Okay, zone text amendment 2024-03 of the, doing okay over there? Of the Corona Municipal Code, adding chapter 2. You're gonna get me laughing. 2.38 Historic Preservation Board to Title 2 Administration and Personnel, and amending chapter 17.63 Historical Resources of Title 17 Zoning of the Corona Municipal Code. Does any council member want a staff report on this item? Tony, Wes, Jackie, Chuckles?
No,
No.
I do want, I don't want a staff report. I have a question. So I
Okay.
don't know where that comes into this public hearing.
We'll work you in.
Okay.
Jim, did you want a staff report?
No, thank you.
All right. Okay, let's just go with this. Jackie, feel free to ask your question.
So the Historic Preservation Board, can you explain to me essentially the order of operations when a historic issue comes before this board? Who goes first? And does the board go first? The planning commission go first? And then what's on second? And then how does it get, whose recommendation comes before the councils?
So it's going to operate similar to the Planning Commission. So the responsibilities that are delegated to the Planning Commission are now going to be delegated to this board. So you will no longer have the Planning Commission making decision on most historical nominations. There's a couple of land use matters that they would still have authority over. So it'll go Historic Preservation Board, and then it will come to the City Council.
Got it.
You cool with that?
No,
Casillas?
no, I
Not
don't.
cool with it?
That's the way it's written. That's why I wanted it explained to me, because that distinction, I believe, is important, and I don't like it, so
See
anyway.
how it is. All right, well, at least you didn't have to do that last vote. With that, the public hearing is now open. Sylvia, do you have any speaker cards?
Mayor, we did not receive any speaker cards for this item.
All right. Wesley didn't pull a speaker card? All right, Wes, I'm keeping an eye on you back there. Okay, public hearing is now closed. Do we have a motion? Jackie, you want a second? You want to vote yes?
No. Oh, that one works.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, 3-2. All right. Couple rebels in the group. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, the motion needed to be read. Who made the motion?
I did.
Do we still have to read it, Joanne?
Yes,
So I'll read it.
Councilmember Speak needs to read it.
Okay, introduced, even though we voted, introduced by title only and waive full reading of consideration of ordinance number
We're off
3403.
the rails.
First reading of an ordinance adding chapter 2.38 Historic Preservation Board in big capital letters to Title II Administration and Personnel, and amending chapter 17.63 Historical Resources of Title 17 Zoning of the Corona Municipal Code CTA 2024-003. Are we cool, or do we got to vote again?
No, the votes have been recorded. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. I know I could always trust you. Up next, administrative reports.
Too personal.
10.1. What'd you say?
I'm asking what's happening right now.
We're on 10.1. Receive and file the utilities rate study administrative report as prepared by Robert D. Nyhaus, Inc. Katie Hockett, Assistant Director of Utilities, will present this item. Katie, good luck.
Thank you. Okay, can you hear me? Because I know we've had microphone issues. We're good now? Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm happy to be here tonight to give you an update on the rate study. The ask tonight is that Council receive and file the administrative reports as prepared by the consultant for the utilities rate study across water, reclaimed water, sewer, and Greenfield Electric. So you've seen this slide before. It's just a reminder of where we've been and where we're going. This is our 5th presentation to the City Council about the rates since the RFP was awarded in April. Again, tonight, Council is going to receive and file the report, and then the next meeting will be the November 20th City Council meeting for a public hearing to consider the rates. I just want to quickly go over the rates again. We go through a final QA/QC process, both the consultant and the city staff, and so these are the final rates that are presented to the community. We have water, we have fixed rates. Those are the monthly charges based on the size of the meter. The variable charges are based on the amount of water that's used. As a reminder, we're making a change to that indoor budget to bring it down to 47 gallons per person per day, as required by the state of California. On the private fire line side, we have fixed monthly charges based on the size of the meter. Any consumption on those meters is billed at the Tier 4 rate. Consumption is unlikely. It's usually because of a leak or because of testing, but it's rare. On the reclaim side, again, we have fixed rates based on the size of the meter. We have variable rates on this side as well. The Tier 1 rate is the budget based on the size of the area that's being watered. And then Tier 2 is everything beyond that. We have eliminated Tier 3 and Tier 4 for the reclaimed rates. On the sewer rates, they're currently charged based on the size of their meter or the account type. There's multiple different classifications for sewer. Going forward, we're going to simplify this process and make it more equitable. So there will be a base charge for all connections. Residential customers will only pay that base charge. In 2025, that's the $45.46. All non-residential customers will pay a variable charge per unit of water used beyond 8 units per month. On the Greenfield side, again, there's multiple different rate structures for the different account types. So I have residential here to show you, but we can talk about the others if you'd like to. But the residential is the biggest group of our electric customers. The Greenfield residential represents about 3% of the city of Corona's entire residential population. Again, we have the fixed charge per month, and that we had a pretty good conversation about that a few months ago, about that going from a very low rate to a more moderate rate to cover our fixed cost of providing that service. Our Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, we did eliminate Tier 4, and then the public benefits charge, that's something that's currently included in the rates, but we're pulling that out as a separate line item. This money is required to be collected, and we're allowed to use this on energy efficiency programs or customer assistance programs. Our next steps is that we will be mailing a Proposition 218 notice to all property owners and customers. So that's every mailing address, every service address, every tenant in the city of Corona, and the areas that we serve that are in the county. Those will go out at the end of this week. We will accept protest letters by mail or by email. That will go directly to the city clerk's office to tabulate for the public hearing. The information on the rates is going to be available on our website, and we will be having community meetings. Excuse me. So on Thursday, October 24th at 6:30, we'll be having a meeting at the Staybridge Suites in Dos Lagos. This is specifically for our electricity customers so that we can talk just about electric, because obviously that's a small percentage of our customers, so we don't want to get people too confused. Then after that, Saturday, November 2nd at 2 o'clock at City Council, or at the City Council chambers, Thursday, November 7th at 11, and Thursday, November 7th at 6:30. These are set this way on purpose so that we can try to accommodate as many people as possible. But they will also be, at least one of them will be recorded and available online as well. Again, next steps, the rate hearing. We will be back here for City Council to consider the rates on November 20th as part of the City Council agenda for that evening. Then the second reading will be December 4th. And then rates would go into effect in January, and customers would start seeing new bills with the new rates in February or March. So again, tonight the ask is just that City Council receive and file the report as prepared by the consultant, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Katie. Does anybody have questions for Ms. Hockett? All right, Katie, it's been received and filed. Sylvia, are there any speaker cards on this one?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item.
All right. I'm glad we did that. 10.2, resolution adopting, this is all red bold caps, resolution adopting an updated urban forest management plan and ordinance amending chapter 12. I'm reading it. 12.22. Moses Cortez, is that your son that's here, Moses? All right, glad you're here. How old are you? 12?
14.
Oh, 14, all right. Well, you're here to watch Dad. He's a good one. Moses Cortez, Facilities, Park, and Trails Manager, will present this item.
Thank you, Council. We are here tonight to bring back the Urban Forest Management Plan. I know we've brought a couple revisions to you guys, and we have 3 items that we're going to cover tonight. I am assisted here by Sarah Arce, our Management Analyst. She's going to kick it off, and then I'm going to jump in and go over the 3 items that we are updating to the plan.
Good luck, Sarah. Your family's watching.
Thank you. Tonight, the ask is that the City Council approve an amendment to the Urban Forest Management Plan authorizing.
Sarah, can you put the mic closer to? Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. The ask is that the City Council approve an amendment to the Urban Forest Management Plan authorizing a residential pay program for tree trimming requests outside the grid pruning schedule, process for residents to appeal newly planted trees in their parkways, and a process for protecting large native trees on all properties except single-family homes. Some program background. This program was established in 2021. This program ensures the city has a comprehensive plan to maintain a healthy and growing urban forest. Our goal is to plant 15,000 trees over a 5-year period, which equates to about 3,000 trees per year, and implement a 5-year grid pruning cycle. The city currently invests $1.6 million annually to maintain its urban forest. Some program highlights. The City of Corona is proud to be recognized as Tree City USA. This prestigious designation is awarded to agencies that demonstrate a commitment to caring for its trees and forests. The city was honored to receive the Helen Putnam Award from the League of California Cities and was recognized for its investment and dedication to the urban forest. The city also received a $100,000 grant to plant additional trees in underserved and high heat index areas. This will benefit several residents that live in and around the circle. And the city created an active and robust Corona Beautiful program that includes several volunteer tree planting opportunities. These events are highly attended and bring the community together to improve our open spaces. Here's some data from our year 1 and 2 overview. Both years, we achieved planting over 3,000 trees. The trees removed, there was less in year 2 than year 1, and the amount of volunteers increased in year 2.
All right, so we're going to get into the programs or the items that we are updating. So we have the residential pay program, and I know we had shared this with you in the past, previously. This is actually a really good option for our residents. So basically what it does, we had a challenge where we were starting to see an increase in service requests coming in outside of the grid pruning cycle, which was kind of defeating our purpose of having a scheduled routine maintenance to address all trees throughout the city. And typically what we were seeing was trees that were, is routine trees that we were seeing over and over and over, where usually people didn't, our residents, I should say, didn't want to deal with leaf litter, fruiting, maybe it was blocking their solar panels, or they just didn't want a tree for whatever reason. So now, and we can see some of the stats that we were starting to trend. So fiscal year 23, we spent about $400,000. Fiscal year 24, we spent over $600,000 on service requests. So the solution that we came up with was—
Moses, I'm sorry, that's out of cycle?
Those are trees, those are specifically out of cycle. So those were service requests, typically through C-Click fixes, where we've seen a lot of the popularity coming through.
Okay, thank you.
And we looked at some other agencies that had similar programs, and this is a direct pass-through, so it's they can call in and request a service request. We can go into Arbor Access and see if the tree was just trimmed, 4 months ago or 6 months ago, wherever it was. If we go in there and when we take the call, we see the service request, and if it's been, a few years or even longer, there's not much history on the tree, we'll still go out and do an evaluation on the tree and make sure that it's, if it's, mail can't be delivered or the trash truck can't get by, then we're just going to go in and take care of that because that's got some deferred maintenance on it. But again, it's really getting back to those repeated service requests that we're seeing, and that will be an outlet for these residents to be able to utilize this program and have their trees trimmed outside of that cycle. This will still allow us to maintain our 5-year grid pruning cycle, is which our ultimate goal is to do. So,
is there an opportunity cost? Like, is taking on some of these out of cycle tree trimming, does that then take people away from trimming in cycle? Is there an opportunity cost, right? So like maybe the cost is getting transferred over to the resident, but still it sets us back because the team that could be handling the routine trimming is now having to veer off the routine trimming to take care of this out of cycle.
Yeah, that's a great question. And we addressed this with our contractor, West Coast Arborist, and we do want to make sure that we're staying on schedule with our grid pruning because that is a commitment that we said we were going to stick to. So what they've done is we gather these lists. They will set aside a smaller crew, like a 2-man crew with a chipper truck, and they'll be the ones that'll be able to address these service requests without pulling off those larger crews that are going to be addressing the grid pruning. So that way we can stay on schedule.
Okay.
So that's the first update to the plan. The second plan is a new tree refusal process. As you know, we're just starting the 3rd year of our planting. So it's been really successful. It's been a fun program and we've learned a lot. we've gotten a lot of the major boulevards as you drive around town, and now we're starting to trickle into those neighborhoods. And that's where we're starting to see some folks that would not particularly care for a tree in their front yard, again, for whatever reason. Maybe it's the fruiting, maybe it's a leaf, whatever it is. And assuming that the site is a suitable site, we're not going to plant an oak tree in a 3-foot wide parkway. So assuming that it is a suitable site, we will continue to plant the tree. But if they would like to refuse or ask that the tree not be planted, we'd give them an outlet for that. So it's similar to our tree removal process. It mirrors it very closely, and it allows the property owner to write a written request to not have the tree planted. And then it'll then move on to, they have to provide some justification on why they don't want it. It'll then go to before the Parks Commission. The Parks Commission will review it and then provide their consideration. If they feel it meets the requirements and they'd like to move forward, then they will again move it forward before your body, the City Council, for the final decision if that tree should be removed or not planted, I should say.
Moses, are residents given an option of the type of tree? Like, some residents might not want a specific type of tree, but if they're given the option to pick the tree, maybe they'll be more amenable.
But yeah, so we won't just open anything up to them. So we do try to stick to our approved street tree list. And we also don't want the street to look super scattered with multiple different trees. So we try to stick with what's in the neighborhood or what looks suitable or what is appropriate. Sometimes on streets we might have a couple different species, so maybe they may not like that one, but they might like what their neighbor has. So we'll try to work with them on that and let them know, these are smaller trees, maybe they're afraid it's going to buckle their sidewalk or whatever it is. So we'll talk to them about root barriers and root guards and things along those lines, so they're not experiencing some of those issues they may have experienced in the past. So we do try to work with them. They get a door hanger on their door about a month ahead of time.
Okay.
So they know the tree's coming, and then it has our contact information. So again, if they're concerned, they can reach out to us and we'll schedule an appointment with them, and our staff will go out and meet with them.
Very thorough process, and like
I can say I was
customer
there was a
service
tree
oriented.
missing in front of my house, and I did a C-click fix, and I got the door hanger, and I got all the discussion about what was going to happen, and it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a really fun program. It's kind of almost like a well-oiled machine now. So we're getting there. I don't want to jinx it, but it's been fun.
Good.
Moses, I
Where's
don't
the hat?
I don't recall any tree requests to come that have not for a tree that have come to council. Have we had anybody that's requested not a tree?
Not yet, but we have had some concerned residents that, again, as we're getting into these neighborhoods, they're not maybe open to the idea of having a tree. And I think once we educate them and talk to them about tree-lined streets and the benefits it'll provide, usually we're able to navigate that and work with them on it. But we did want to put it in there, especially now that we're getting into those neighborhoods, that there's an avenue for them to voice their concern.
Okay, thank you.
And just one last thing, Moses. If someone is to illegally take a tree out, we planted the tree. I had a resident send me a picture of a tree stump that was on downtown, very sad, because it looked like it was a good-sized tree.
It was.
And promptly reported that to Ms. Finch, and I think so how do we educate folks that those trees can't just be cut down?
So unfortunately, you can't go back and
Yeah.
put the tree back, but what we will do is we'll fine them based on municipal code, so they will receive a fine, and then they'll pay the pass-through rate to have that tree replaced with a 24-inch box tree.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And the last item that we're making to update on our plan is the protection of large native trees. And so there is a section in there that goes over heritage trees, but it didn't really talk about anything about native trees. So this will cover, again, those historic trees as well as native trees. And what native trees would be, it has to be indigenous to Riverside County. And we included the link in the plan, so that way you can see which trees are native to Riverside County. And it also has to meet a certain height requirement, so it has to be at least 30 inches. The trunk has to be at least 30 inches at breast height, which is approximately 4.5 feet high. And this kind of addresses those trees that may not be in our inventory, but as development comes in or other factors come in, if you have a tree on a slope that could potentially be impacted by a future development or for whatever reason, it does outline those items to try and protect those trees in place. And if they can't be protected or relocated, then it defaults to our removal process, which is replacing them at a 2-to-1 ratio. So that does protect those trees, and it allows us to also, we created another item inside our arbor access where we're able to identify those historic trees or protected trees. So with that, those are the items, and the ask is that the City Council approve the amendment to the Urban Forest Management Plan, which were the 3 items I reviewed and discussed. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Does anybody have any questions?
Great job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sarah, Moses, you did great. Wesley, did your mom do good? Thumbs up. Okay, good. I'm looking at this agenda and notice in big blue capital letters that this motion needs to be read. So with that, would
Mayor?
anybody?
We have a speaker card for this item.
Okay.
Wait, how long have you been mayor now?
Too long. David, the floor is yours. It's been a night.
Mayor, my bad, Mayor. Wes has brought up my question. He answered it as well. Moses is here as well. I want to know, because the city park is going to be transformed. How many trees are you guys going to cut down at the city park? Is there any trees going to be cut down?
Yeah, there will be.
Just at the city park or around, like all around Corona?
No, I think, well, if you're specifically talking about City Park, then it's going to go through a 2-year construction process, and there will be trees that are cut down. There's also trees that will be saved, too, by the way. But to make it fit properly, there will be some trees that need to be cut down.
Yes, and then if a person cuts a tree off in front of their house, but it's not on their property, do you guys send them a fine, or do they have to replace the tree with another tree? Both? That's it. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, David. Sylvia, apparently I'm not a well-trained mayor, but are there
You're
any
doing
other?
great, Mayor.
Thank you. You knew I could always count on you. Are there any other speaker cards?
We do not have any more speaker cards for this item.
Okay. Would anybody like to make the motion? You have to read it. Well, you've been a council member for 6 years. You should know where we're at. It's
Okay, introduced by title only and waive full reading and consideration to ordinance number 3401, the first reading of the ordinance approving the amendment of sections 12.22.030 and 12.22.050 of the Corona Municipal Code regarding the city's responsibilities for maintenance of trees in the parkway.
All right, vote your conscience.
Yes.
Mayor, we need your vote.
I'm almost there. I've been training. Five zero. Oh, I can't wait for this night to be over. All right, up next, Innovation Center at the Corona Public Library. The great Danielle Whittington, Library Manager, will present this item. You know who you are. Fire West.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I know that I'm not Danielle, the great Danielle Whittington, but if you'll indulge us, the two of us would like to give this presentation together. And as you said, we will be discussing the Innovation Center. And we'll be asking the City Council to provide feedback on the construction of the Innovation Center at the Corona Public Library. But before we get there, let's talk about how we got here. In 2023, the city was the recipient of a $2.5 million grant from the state of California, specifically the Governor's Office of Economic Development. And that grant is to be used to establish an innovation center anywhere in the city. The City Council appropriated those grant funds in May of 2023 to the CIP project, Corona Innovation Center. And since then, staff has been looking for the best location to place an innovation center, and we have landed on the library, and Danielle is going to tell us specifically why in a couple of slides. But we'd also like to define what an innovation center is. So it is a dedicated space designed to foster creativity, collaboration, and development. And that space will provide resources and services to the community, helping businesses, residents, and students do things like innovate and potentially develop new products and services for consumption. Specifically in the city of Corona and pursuant to the grant agreement, our Innovation Center will serve two primary functions. And the first focuses on business services, so events, trainings, development opportunities for our business community. And the second focuses on youth and adult introduction to new career pathways and STEM industries. And so now I'm going to hand it over to Danielle.
Good evening, Council. It is I, Danielle, the medium, not the great. We'll do that. So this is actually happening at the perfect time for the library. We have a couple of really cool things going on. We're in the process of doing an adult area refresh and redesign. We want to try to make the area more approachable and open for our adult readers. But we're also in the process of finishing our strategic plan, which is almost done and will be sent over as soon as it is done. But from that data, which was from focus groups, surveys, big picture ideas, we had a lot of common themes come through, which was there were a lot of our community members that wanted more welcoming spaces, better technology and resources for their jobs, and upskilling. And the Innovation Center at the library is it's going to allow the library to participate in this huge momentum of the city's downtown revitalization plan. It's going to activate all four corners of that historic cross street. So we're excited to be a part of the downtown revitalization plan through the Innovation Center. The Innovation Center is going to give us the ability to enhance the library with renovations and equipment, and that's through the further continued investment of the city. It's going to give the Innovation Center is going to give the city, give the library to become this big hub for knowledge and learning. And it's going to provide programmable spaces for youth, teens, and adults through the programs and activities we are going to have. And also it's going to give us the potential to introduce the library to a new demographic. And we want to make sure that all people are welcome there. The library enhancements, we're going to be optimizing library space into programmable areas. We are reconfiguring the library plan floor to optimize space and use, and also making sure that it's functional for not only our patrons, but also our collections. We are enhancing the program offerings through our partnerships with schools and local businesses. Some of these conversations have already started, and they are extremely excited to potentially partner with us and use our use the Innovation Center to reach out into the community. And then we're also going to be enhancing the library's tech offerings. So this is the current library floor plan. If you were looking at the library from a top down, either with your drone or if you were a bird, I don't know. But this is the southeast side of the library. Some area strengths of this area is we have natural light going through, which is conducive for a better learning environment. You can put signage on the windows that face Main, so that's just an organic way to promote and market the Innovation Center. And the area is over 2,500 square feet, which is a very large size for a new center.
Danielle, really quick, can you go back one slide?
Yes.
The highlighted area in orange, is that directly underneath the
Heritage Room?
Heritage Room?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had my bearings right on this. Thank you.
So this is the proposed conceptual floor plan. Nothing is set in stone, but we did want to see what would happen if we sort of shifted around things. So as you see at the bottom right-hand side of the floor plan, that's where the Innovation Center is going to be. And all of these areas, these open study, open lounge areas, they're just different types of furnishings that the designer is going to pull from. We have 14 rows of shelving, and after speaking with my staff, we decided that it would actually be better if we move those 4 rows of shelving that's on the south side up where the open lounge area is. So the first thing that you come into contact with when you walk into the adult area are the books, which is why we're a library, right? And this opportunity is going to allow the library to become elevated, to become more modern, and become a library of the future.
So Danielle, before you change that, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Really quick. So right now in those areas is this a 1-for-1 replacement of the rows that we have now yeah, so it seems like it's a lot smaller.
Correct.
And those areas now are kind of open seating, is that correct? For the most part? And then I think like where the focused work and the open lounge, that's the computer, where all the computers are?
No, that is also a different type of furnishing. If you can, if you look more north of that area, you can see the computers, open work, and computers.
Oh, they're over
Yes.
there, okay. That seems smaller as well, is that?
Yes, so one of the refurbishments is to potentially have a laptop checkout machine, and that allows people to come into the library and check out a laptop and move wherever they need to which is better for their study. So if they want to come in, check out a laptop, and go up to the Heritage Room, they're able to do so.
Okay. And then book-wise, I mean, we're shrinking the space. I know not every single shelf is full. I've walked it many, many times. And this handles everything that we have now and potential for growth, because I know that the library board, even when I was on the library board, we were always trying to find more money for books, and do we have room to grow as well?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that question, because that was my very first concern and
Yeah.
also my staff's very first concern. So if you don't mind, I'm going to speak in linear feet, because that's usually how, when libraries are planning for expansion or they're shrinking their space,
makes
that's
sense.
usually how they'll do it. So with the 14 rows that you have here, it's 2,500 linear feet. Our current collection in this area is 2,200 linear feet. So, but what we would like, but that's without weeding. So anytime you shift around a collection, you're going to weed.
Okay.
So if we weren't going to weed, and given the general trends that we've had in the past couple of years, and if we have 14 rows, we would have about 2 to 6 years of growth available. That's without weeding. But if we want 16 rows, which is something that myself and our staff want to push for,
Yeah.
we could have 6 to 15 years of growth.
Okay, I'd really like to have the larger number, just because I know that the library's been here a long time and it's evolved, and I like the fact that it's evolving, but I also realize that it's going to continue to evolve, and we don't know that everything is going to be, no one's going to want to pick up a book anymore. And that's not true. I mean, when I go to the library, I see lots of people with books, and, I go there to touch books. I don't know, I'm not the demographic, but I see people a lot younger and better looking than me that are using books, and I want to make sure that that's still an opportunity. So I'd like to advocate for the larger number of rows. Thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify, just because I'm just trying to lay it out in my head when you walk in, where you're going to see, and then that laptop checkout. I'd be really curious about, will we have the same number? Because those computer stations are full almost every single time I go in there.
Wes, we need to weed some books. There's just no way
I
around
got
it.
no
We
problem
need
with
to weed
weeding
them, weed them out, and move on.
I buy them at the Friends and then bring them back.
Do people still read books?
Yeah.
They all have phones now, right?
Yeah, I'd be out of a job if they didn't.
All right, okay. No more weeding.
So this is our estimated project timeline. Last month, we went to the Library Board of Trustees meeting, and from there, they did recommend this project to council, which brings us to today, and we're presenting it to you for feedback. We hope that in November, we can start the design process. That'll last until August. If it ends earlier than that, that would be great, because we need as much time as possible to go to the construction phase, which we need it to start on September of 2025, and for that to last until May of 2026. I did want to note that this 8-year construction gap isn't inclusive. So we're not going to be shutting down the library for those 8 months. When we do shut down the library, it's going to be very minimal. It's going to be for safety reasons. It's going to be, maybe we need a particular area so we can do carpet. But the shutdown is going to be minimal. I can't speak to the time, but we're trying to make sure that people still have access to this valuable resource, which is our library. So, and then we have a very firm deadline of June of 2026, because that is what is stipulated in the grant.
Danielle, where does this timeline line up with the Heritage Room?
So the Heritage Room is almost done.
Okay.
So it doesn't.
So the Heritage Room is done way
Yes.
before this gets
Yes.
started.
I had a quick question too, Danielle.
Yes.
And maybe I missed it in the staff report, but I don't remember seeing it. Is this going to require hiring of more employees at the library, or do we do it with what we got?
So we are partnering with local schools and local businesses, and from there, they're going to be assisting with programming out that space, creating cohorts within the schools, and so we're depending a lot on this outside partnership. So that's where we are right now.
Great, it's pretty exciting. Thank you.
It's great.
I just had a question about the potential closure. I mean, I know that this work is being done on one side of the library, and one of the other really busy side of the library is the children's area, and it's packed. So I'm just really concerned about shutting down access completely to the library, because there's a lot of kids that including myself at the time, where the library was a haven, was a place for me to get out of work sometimes, but also for studying and for just a general ability to kind of get out of the heat or the cold. So I'm just really curious about what length of time do you anticipate the library being closed? Just because if there's a way to avoid it, I'd really like to know more about it.
Councilmember Speak, I can answer that. So we are working on the construction schedule while we're doing design. We are going to try to minimize the closures as much as possible. We don't anticipate any significant times of closure. The only time we believe we'll need to close is when we're doing the carpet, because we will be doing the carpet in most of the area, maybe a couple days to a week max. But we are going to try and coordinate construction around either the pre-opening hours or anything that's significantly impactful. We'll just be done with a very minor closure period.
Yeah, I'd really like to hear more. I mean, as we get closer and
Mayor,
this,
can I interject? It's really important that we maintain the safety of the library, and so construction managing it here isn't really appropriate. But we are committing to making sure that we minimize the interruptions to the library. To your point, Councilmember Speak, they are children, and we can't have them running around while we're in a live construction zone.
I'm certainly not advocating for that.
We just want to make sure that they're safe and we get it done as quickly as possible. And we are committing to minimizing the closures. But I'm not comfortable with getting operational direction for when we can close it, when we can't.
Not providing, I just would like to hear more. That's what I said.
What would you like to hear more about?
When, how long? And how was this described?
So you'd like to construction manage the project for us?
I didn't say I was providing direct feedback to how long it was going to be. I'm just asking for more details when the construction schedule gets done. That's all.
So you just like to know when?
Sure.
Sure, we're happy to provide that.
Thank you.
Can we go back to the slide that has the proposed design? In the children's section, there's a corner, I'll call it, or a section that has some innovation stuff. There's a 3D printer, a couple other things. Does that stay, or does that move into this? Because this is going to be like the adult section, so that will stay. Is there any enhancements that are going to be done to that as well?
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
We haven't gotten that far yet because we needed to locate a dedicated space for the Innovation Center because that is a part of the grant. But, you know, if there's funding for us to enhance that portion so that the kids can also have additional fun, absolutely.
Right. And so I guess my question would be is there are some kids that are working in there that are clearly smarter than most of us. I mean, they're doing some really incredible things. What do we have like an age designation where some of those kids that are doing some of that stuff that would be kind of replicated or duplicated in the adult version, as you guys are calling it? What constitutes somebody moving from the kids table to the grown-ups table, essentially?
So at this point, we would never turn away a kid, especially if they have advanced skills in the equipment that we have in that area. I mean, honestly, all we would need are their parents or their guardian to come inside and be with them.
Okay.
But that for all library activities, we never turn anybody away that wants to participate.
Okay, and then back to the lineal footage of books, right? So this space here currently has a bunch of books, and you had talked about, and I know that there are some gaps and whatnot. So are you saying that if we were to take the current lineal footage of books that we have and condense it down, it's about 2,200 lineal feet? Is that correct? I mean, closing down all of those gaps. And the proposed 14 rows that we have here is about 2,500 lineal feet?
2550, yeah.
2,550. So, you know, books in my house are a big deal, actual books. And I still like to read books as well. And I don't want, I'm only concerned just looking at this. I mean, you're condensing a big book space down into a smaller book space, and I like the idea of having more room to grow books, especially as technology will change, and candidly, you know, some of the technology that you're putting in here will be outdated in minutes. It seems like with the advances of technology. So I'm a big advocate in keeping, you know, enough space to expand books, because books have been around for thousands of years and probably aren't going to go anywhere. And I'd love to see a resurgence of people actually reading books. I would still like to read a newspaper every once in a while, but I don't seem to get those, and I don't like reading them online. So there's something pretty special about having a book in your hand, or having a book in a child's hand, and allowing that child to, you know, kind of explore through that book. So I'm a big fan of also keeping additional space. I mean, it looks like with some of these open work and open group areas that you could probably remove those and put more books if need be. So I'd like to keep that, you know, for my feedback, I'd like to, you know, keep space or keep open space so that we could grow a book collection should the need arise. And, you know, that was the feedback that I want. I'd like to definitely make sure that we're keeping, you know, an open collection and curated as you see fit, and weeded out as you see fit as well. So thank you.
Danielle, did we cut you off, or were you done with?
I was done. Just we're ready to receive any additional feedback or questions that you may have.
Okay, before we take it up here, let's go to the public. Sylvia, are there any speaker cards for
Mayor,
this?
yes, we have 2 speaker cards for this item.
Okay. The Honorable Jamie Merchant is here.
Good evening, Board. Well, now I'm afraid to speak, because if Mr. Ellis addresses me the way that he did Wes, which is completely inappropriate, I'm just shocked, because I am here as the library board chair with 2 other library board members, and our concern too is the amount of time that it's closed during construction. And I know that if Stater Brothers and Target can remodel an entire store and keep it open and move the shelves, and we're using squares as carpet squares, the time that it's closed should be very minimal, if at all. So I don't understand, like, I just am baffled the way that you spoke to him. I know that that's not my place, but it's completely inappropriate. The other thing that we're really concerned about is funding for books. We really depend on the Friends way too much. They're like, I don't know how to, like, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have half the library activities and books and programs. And we can't always depend on them because they're a nonprofit and it's all based on their fundraising. And if we have times where they may not be able to do as good, we really need additional funding for books so that way we can get more bookshelves. I have a feeling that they did minimal bookshelves because if you go in there, we have so many extra bookshelves that are completely empty right now. We don't even have one book for every single citizen that lives in the city of Corona, if you put it in perspective that way. We really need more books and we need additional funding for that. But we do think that this is an amazing project. We're looking forward to, after it's built, to work more closely to figure out how exactly the space is going to be utilized and the different partnerships, because that is important, that if we are having private companies come in and utilize the space, we feel that it should be open to the public as well, if they're using the space without having to pay a fee or anything like that. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Joe?
It definitely is my place to say something. I've been in a lot of meetings here, and I think I saw Talbert throw a hissy fit like that before. It baffles me that, just for any case anybody doesn't know, the council only has 2 employees: city manager, city attorney. I've seen the city attorney disagree with something that the council did before, and he raised an objection and stated it in a professional manner. And I've never heard him literally taunt a council member before. I think I might have seen Talbert do that towards the end of his tenure once, and I was pretty blown away. And if your head or your britches or whatever are getting enough comfortable that you think that that's acceptable, it's not. It's never acceptable to talk shit to your boss like that, to taunt him and basically dare him to do something about it. Maybe you feel like you got 3 votes, so you're safe. That's not going to go very far. You really need a little bit of attitude adjustment. I haven't personally cared for your attitude for a long time, but now I feel like everybody else in the room is sort of getting a whiff of exactly who you are. Thank you very much.
I will say real quick that wasn't even close to anything Talbert ever did.
Sylvia, are there any more speaker cards?
Mayor, we do not have any more speaker cards.
Okay, with that, public comments are closed. Does anybody want to go first? Tony?
Can we go back to the drawing again? So other than advocating for more space for books, can you talk to me a little bit about the grant and where it came from? And one of the questions that I wrote down was the time limit, and apparently there is a time limit on it, but can you tell me where the grant came from and the actual purpose of the grant?
Absolutely. The grant came from state legislation. It's an earmark. It's written into the legislation that this money, $2.5 million, comes to specifically the city of Corona for specifically an innovation center. And Senator Roth is the individual who was able to achieve that for us. Does that answer the first part of your question?
It does.
Okay. And the second part?
Yeah, so the second part was, is there a time limit on there? And I guess that there is, but specifically in the verbiage of it, I mean, innovation could be interpreted a lot of different ways, but does that not allow for the funding of more books?
I would be hesitant to say that it wouldn't exclude, or that it would exclude the funding of more books. The primary goal of this project is to build an innovation center in the city of Corona. And if we do that here in the library, we do have some flexibility to enhance the library with any additional funds that may be left over. We don't know what that looks like quite yet. We haven't gone through the design process, so we don't have a construction estimate. But we are prioritizing building and furnishing the innovation center before spending dollars to enhance the library itself. pursuant to the grant.
Okay, so I guess my gripe with that is, innovation could be is open interpretation, right? And especially with the way technology moves and how quickly it is. It's kind of a joke, and it is kind of funny, but the reality is that technology will be outdated the minute it's placed in the library. Books aren't outdated. So I guess I take exception with the fact that, we're looking at this and we're saying we're going to prioritize innovation over books. And when you say library to anybody, anywhere, in probably any language, the first thing that they're going to think of is books. And so for me, I guess I would like to see some real hard thinking on, advancing innovation through the advancement of bringing in more books. I mean, you could bring in books on a lot of different topics that would be innovative, that will go with a lot of what we're trying to do here and advance, innovation through talking about different, different mediums of 3D printing. That could be done through a book as well. Having an actual 3D printer is awesome. And I think that, that will help it do a lot of advancements as well. But I don't want to overshadow that this is a library and that libraries are full with books. And so I think that, using this grant to, come up with all of this, and I don't see a programming plan, which I'm also concerned about, because I want to see the types of things that we're trying to innovate. And, what does that look like for classes? What does that look like for adults? What types of things are we really looking to program? What types of classes are we looking to program? I'd like to see more of that rather than this is what we want to build. I think that that's the cart before the horse. I'd like to see, these are the types of classes that we want to offer. And because of that, this is what we've kind of come up with. And I'd like to give more thoughts to books. I'd like to, double the amount of books that you currently have. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do that if we're taking up all of this space for quote unquote innovation. So to me, this is a little bit of the cart before the horse. So I'm open to hearing some of those plans and some of those classes. And I know that there's been a lot of thought process that went into, what could be here, but to me, that's all about the programming, right? And so is it possible that kids nowadays, and I have a 10-year-old at home that, spends way more time on the iPad than he does reading, but he does read, and he does have a passion for books, and I think that more kids will as well. But they have to be kind of shown that, right? I think libraries, and I'm not a librarian, right? But I think just overall, libraries get away from books, and they're trying to, do things like this because that's what their customers are asking for. And it gives a lot of people that maybe don't have access to laptops and computers and that type of stuff. But ultimately, when I think of books or I think of library, I think of books. And so I'm hard-pressed to want to go too far away from that. If there was thought into the innovation through books and adding books to the library, I think that would complement this very well. So I'd like to see more ideas on the programming and how that fits with what's going on in here.
Councilmember Daddario, can I speak to that?
Really quick, one other question before you say that. This open space that's between the storage room and the elevator and the staircase, what is that area dedicated for? It's not labeled on here.
I'm sorry, which one?
So on this map, there's down towards the bottom, there's a storage room and an elevator.
Oh, yes.
And then there's a staircase. I guess this would be like the southeast corner?
Yeah, so this is the south side of the library.
Yeah.
So where it says storage right now, there's just empty shelves. And so the Innovation Center, that would be the Innovation Center's storage.
Yeah, but this whole big space that's, I guess it's kind of light brown in color. The stairs are directly to the north, and the storage, there's an area that's marked storage with this big room, this big space. This space.
That's the Innovation Center space.
Then all of this is the Innovation Center, no?
No, that's just the adult reading area.
Okay. So there's no layout for the Innovation Center
Not yet, no.
per se, but you've relayed out the entire southeast corner of the library, right?
Yes.
Am I not following that correctly? Because
Councilmember, what we presented is a concept design of what the adult area is going to look like once the Innovation Center occupies that space. We wanted to show that we weren't just going to be taking book space, that we were going to be able to thoughtfully and efficiently relocate that book space and then identify different study areas and tables and computer areas for the patrons when they visit the library. The Innovation Center right now is still in the very early stages of planning. We're in the very early concept stages. We are going to be developing a program plan. We've been in discussions with CNUSD, with the adult school, with Riverside Community College District. All of them are very interested in partnering with us to be able to do programming in this space. So we're going to continue those discussions with them and kind of work through more of the development of what a program plan is going to look like once we get the Innovation Center set for this location. But what you're seeing here is just a very early concept of what the adult area of the library is going to look like, and then the space that has been set aside for that Innovation Center. But we can't plan for what that space is going to look like until we have the programming plan, and that's the next step of this process.
I'd like to add a couple of details too. The Office of Economic Development applied for this grant, or for this this earmark in particular, to help with some of the needs that we are seeing in the community, particularly young adults who have interest in STEM programming, we want to be able to bridge the gap between the needs in the workforce with their interests and encourage them to pursue STEM careers. And so this money was sent from as an innovation center to fill those needs, and it has specific uses that are approved for that center. And so in our current library, we have a very small makerspace that's open not very often, and it's tucked back away in a back corner of the library. With partnerships and collaborations with the adult school and RCCD and other entities, we're hoping to encourage more people into the library to make that a vibrant center, like right in the heart of the downtown. It'll also help satisfy some of the needs that RCCD has, CNUSD Adult School, and that we have as we partner to provide educational opportunities for our young adults in particular. So the exact programming plan isn't there, is not completed yet, but even in the grant application, it talked about building programming opportunities for young adults to pursue STEM and other careers. Additionally, with the strategic plan that's being developed for the library, libraries develop and change. Books never go away. I've spent a lot of time in libraries, and I really love them. But also we're seeing other needs from our residents that this innovation center can help fulfill. And so locating it there in an area of town that really could benefit from these services, that's why the library was chosen to receive this improvement. It essentially, the Innovation Center, as conceptually, is like some classrooms and a bigger maker space that can be programmed all the time through these partnerships. And so that's part of the reason of locating it in the library. Additionally, it brings more vibrancy to the library and brings more people in there, and we think that that'll be a great community center.
So, Mr. Tucker, you just said something that they didn't, which was a little bit contradicting. Was the grant, or is the grant written so that you could add more books? And that's a yes or no question.
The answer is no.
Okay, so we are accepting a grant to take over space in the library that's full of books, and it doesn't allow for us to add more books to the collection.
I think that's a great point, and I think the idea of what many people conceive of as a library is just books. But if we think about it as a place, as a community hub, and a place where you get lots of knowledge and training, and it's a community center, that's where libraries are moving. That books there, yes, absolutely, they don't go away. But there are all sorts of other ways that people gain and acquire knowledge. There are repositories for history, there are repositories for growth and training, and that's essentially what the library matches up with. And there are many other successful libraries where they have innovation centers that complement sort of static reading with books, We do lots of programming for youth at the library. We do programming for our kids that's literacy based. We do education programs about English learning. There are lots of things that take place in the library. I mean, we do passports at the library. So this is a complementary amenity to the library. It's not taking anything away from the library. It's adding resources and adding opportunities for our residents.
I guess I'm having a challenge with your own words. I mean, we're building a community center at City Park, right? So when you say something like libraries are moving towards community centers, that makes me wonder, why are we building a community center, right? So I'm just having a real hard time. I understand that, you know, that our community is looking for additional services, and this is, we've identified as a space. I just have a real hard time wanting to make our library something other than its primary function, which is to house books and to have book collections and to advance literacy through books. So I'm having a hard time wanting to accept a grant that's gonna, you know, take away space for books, because even though we have 2,200 lineal feet of books now, that's not how many lineal feet for books we have. Am I correct on that? Because we have gaps in our book collection. So as our book collection stands right now in the adult center, how many lineal feet for books is dedicated?
Do you mean how many linear feet do we have if we were going to fill up every single row? I don't know.
Right. So we're taking away all of the space for future books to put this innovation center. And I get that, you know, that's kind of where, you know, some of the customers, if you will, are looking for, but I just have a hard time wanting to accept a grant to build a community center out of our library when we're building a community center, and accepting a grant for an innovation center that we're going to put in a library that's sole purpose, or its main purpose, is literacy through books. When I think that innovation could be added to, you know, open for interpretation, it could be all of those things, but it could also be books. So that's where I'm having a hard time with it.
If I can jump in, and I'm not going to make this any clearer, but I do want to add my 2 cents, which is, I don't disagree with the conclusion that you know, you have to meet the community where they are, and if the community is no longer, you know, checking out physical books the way we used to, then maybe it's time to change the way and the things that we provide to the community. So that doesn't give me heartburn. Where I do have a little bit of concern is with the description of what these funds were supposed to be towards, which is an economic development partners with it's more like economic development focused, right? And then there's something that I think might be missing with having that as the goal placed in a space that that is, you know, that I feel is, you know, for contemplation, for study, for research, X, Y, and Z. When this was originally an incubator type of thing that was going to be in the old PD building. And I think when it was first pitched or thought of, you know, there was a vision of there being a lot of energy, a lot of, you know, open space, dialogue, communication, work. And so I don't think I'm necessarily contributing to, you know, this fix. I want to accept these funds and I want to support the team, but I think there's something missing there.
It seems to have morphed. What I handed to Councilmember Casillas was a press release that the city did in 2018 about a groundbreaking for our future location, and it was just that. It was supposed to be a business incubation place. And I get the makerspace. I love the idea. I think it's really great, but it doesn't meet what the idea was. Now maybe things have changed, but I don't see this. I don't see this the thing that I think that Councilmember Casillas and I pitched together a couple of times. This doesn't match that. So I'm very concerned, and I don't want to be spoken down to again. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop there. But I just want to make sure that I voiced my opinion, And I'm saying that there was a difference that was done, but I'm looking at a press release from the city from 2018 that says this. I know a lot of you guys weren't here, but that's what we pitched to Senator Roth, and that's what he funded. So I'm not sure where we are now, and I get it, it's a blank space, and we're going to be, but the way it was described, I don't hear anything about business or innovation or incubating.
And I'm not upset about the lack of books, right? That's where I think maybe we have some differences. It's just that I do think that originally the pitch of a innovation center was supposed to be a little bit more economic development driven.
So if I can add one more thing, as how this space ties into the library really does point back to the library's strategic plan. We've been working on this strategic plan for about 6 months. We've done a lot of community outreach. And one of the things that has been shown as being lacking in our community and specifically in our library space is a space for workforce development. We don't have anywhere where we can really bring people in, partner with educational institutes to be able to train them. And the library is actually a location where communities throughout the country do those types of activities. So putting the Innovation Center in the library gives us the opportunity to do that, which then ties back into economic development because these workers then are able to go back out into the community and be trained for skilled positions.
Mayor, could I chime in as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a really good example of a policy issue, and so to council member speak, I apologize. This issue, if council's not comfortable with this is very much the kind of direction that we would welcome receiving from you guys. And you are all absolutely correct that this project has morphed from the time that we originally conceived the idea. This was back when we were talking about the old PD building, looking for funds to be able to retrofit that into something else. Because decisions were made that led to that building going away, subsequently we needed to look for other spaces. And we actually spent the last year looking for potential spaces and collectively determined that the library was probably the best place to be able to reinvest and continue to put more technology as well as furniture upgrades and so forth into the building. If council's not comfortable with that, though, we welcome your direction if we should go back to square one and start looking elsewhere. We welcome that.
Just real quick, Mayor, I just want to remind everybody too that the Corona Library Board of Trustees did recommend that this council approve this as presented. So I think that's important to note that.
May I say one thing on behalf of the Library Board of Trustees?
Jamie, I love you, but I'm going to try to de-escalate. So are you going to be nice or are you going to be...
I'm going to be very kind.
Okay,
We're all
have at
kind
it.
now.
Go for it.
Just one point that for Councilmember Tony Didarios, is part of, you brought up a good point about literacy, that's what's supposed to be at the the library is supposed to be books to be able to get literate. Well, not everybody thinks and learns in the same educational box, and that's not always a book. And to be able to offer these other ways to provide people to get literate, to be able to go be successful out in life and hands-on, I think is just as important for us to do as having tons of books. And as I said, we want books in the library, but having the maker space for the kids and all these other programs are just as important because not everybody learns the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Jim? You're good? Did you have additional comments, Jackie?
No.
Okay, I have comments. I have lots of comments. I really like the Innovation Center. I'm excited for it. I think the library is a perfect spot for it. I'm not a big believer in growing a book collection. I think libraries have become antiquated. And the same guy that introduced fire departments to the United States is the same guy that introduced libraries to the United States, and that would be Benjamin Franklin. Am I right, Danielle? And fire departments are always innovating, and now it's time for our libraries to start innovating. So if this place takes 3D printers and technology to where kids can come and grow and expand like never before, then this needs to be done. And by the way, the library is the perfect spot for it. So I'm on board with it. I think I've kind of lost place of all this. Are we voting on this tonight, or are we not voting on this tonight? We are voting on this tonight. So with that, I'll make the motion. I did public comments. Yeah, I did.
The action is to provide staff with feedback. There doesn't need to be a vote.
Jacob, do you have all the staff feedback that you need?
I think I'm.
bring
Are
this
we
back
okay
later?
with as presented? Is that where we ended or no?
I am.
Tony's not, Wes is.
I am. I just, and Donna, I think your points are really well made, and I agree with that. I just, I want to, I don't know how we best capture that intent and ensure that it lives to that potential, but yeah,
So Jacob, you're good to go for the time being, but tread carefully.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Danielle, thank you for being here. You should come more often. All right, legislative matters. I think we're on legislative matters. 11.1, ordinance amending chapters 2.35 and 2.37 and repealing chapter 2.58. Does any council member want a staff report on this item? Tony, no. Wes, no. Jack, no. Jim, no. Joanne, you're off the hook. Congratulations. Miss Edwards, are there any speaker cards?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item.
Okay, with that, public comments is closed. I'll make the motion since it has to be read. Is there a second? I did. I'm already there. See us? Okay. The motion is that the city council introduce by title only and waive a full reading of consideration of ordinance number 3404, first reading of an ordinance amending chapters 2.35 and 2.37 and repealing chapter 2.58 of the Corona Municipal Code to merge the Planning Commission and Housing Commission into one commission and establish term limits for housing authority tenants if there are ever required by law to be appointed as additional commissioners, and repealing resolution number 12-024. Vote your conscience.
Yes.
Yes. Tony and Wes are a yes for the record, and it's a 5-0. Okay, reports from boards and commissions. Library Board of Trustees, none. Planning and Housing Commission, none. Parks and Rec Commission, none. Regional meetings, update from Council Member Wes Speak on the Riverside County Transportation Commission, RCTC, Western Programs meeting of September 23rd, 2024.
I'm going to make what the vice mayor's night and tell them I forgot my notes, so I will not be speaking on any of these items.
Oh
Thank
boy,
you.
pulled the old Steiner card, huh?
Yep, good.
Steiner is a proud man. Okay.
It's all on you, sir.
Does that go for the saw paw as well, Wesley?
Everything, yeah.
Okay. All right, turn the page. Update from Vice Mayor Jim Steiner on the Riverside Transit Agency Board meeting. Do you want to pull a Wes and forget your notes, or?
No, I'll say a couple things. Let's see, the total ridership for August was up 5% compared to August of last year. Go Micro took a major jump and was actually up 40% compared to last August. The youth continue to ride free with RTA on all fixed route and Go Micro buses now through June 30th, 2025. That's pretty cool. Let's see, on September 8th, RTA adopted a service change to increase the route frequencies and optimize routes to better serve our customers. The new ride guides and updates are available on the RTA website. And finally, RTA gave nearly 10,000 free rides on Car Free Day on September 22nd. Customers enjoyed free rides all day on the fixed route and on the Go Micro buses. So that's all.
All right, thank you, Jim. City Attorney's reports and comments. Dean Derleth, do you have anything to report out? Microphone. Oh, I got you. City Manager's report, Jacob Ellis.
No reports, just an apology. One of my mantras is if you screw up, you should fess it and fix it. And I got a little carried away tonight. I apologize, Councilmember Speak. I usually manage to keep my message delivery clearer than that, and I let my emotions get away from me. I apologize. I could have delivered that in a whole different way. So just wanted to make sure that I stated that tonight before we left.
All right, thank you, Jacob. City Council member reports and comments. Daddario, what do you got?
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a doozy for us today. I was invited to go to, as we all were, to the International Firefighter Memorial, which is in Colorado Springs. It was 2 weekends ago. And Councilmember Steiner and I went. And it was my first time there. And essentially, this is the International Memorial, and it's a physical memorial. It's a granite, it's a beautiful memorial in Colorado Springs at Memorial Park. And firefighters gather there every year, and they are, sadly, they are adding names to that wall in memorandum of a fallen firefighter, whether it be in the line of duty or outside of duty, but perhaps as a fire-related illness or something along those lines. Fortunately, the city of Corona was not putting any names up on the wall this year, although we do have 5 names on that wall. Just to remind everybody, they are William Lucas, Timothy Hull, Randy Burnett, Doran Hayes, and Theodore Matthews. 309 names went up on the wall, 195 of them were line of duty. We were there with a host of other cities, obviously, but also supporting Rancho Cucamonga and Riverside City, who did put members of their department up on the wall. It was a beautiful memorial. It was very well executed. 309 names. I thought it was going to take forever, but they have a very smooth, well-oiled system. But one of the highlights of the event was there were a lot of different departments that have pipes and drums. I'm going to call them units, maybe that's? Bands. Bagpipes and drums, including the city of Rancho Cucamonga and Riverside City. And, it's something that they are very passionate about. Unfortunately, the city of Corona does not have a pipes and drums band. And while we were there, it was very interesting because 2 firefighters have committed to me, without me prompting them or asking, that within 1 year, the city of Corona will have their own pipes and drums band. And I'm very excited about that because they are, they're absolutely wonderful. I'd like to apologize to any homeowners that are anywhere near any of our fire stations because the learning process may be a little painful. It may sound like there's, cats, being just abused or something with the way that some of these training devices sound. But I'm very excited to challenge our Corona Fire Department because they threw down the gauntlet, and so very excited that within a year we'll have our own pipes and drums. Other than that, it was a great trip. I really appreciate it. Thank you to our Corona firefighters for the invitation, and look forward to doing it again. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Wes?
Nothing tonight.
Jackie? Jim?
Good, man.
Okay, just a couple announcements for me. This coming, or next Wednesday, I will be participating in an online town hall on the Facebook platform Transparent Corona, filmed at Divine Light Studios. Joe will be moderating. It's the whole purpose of this town hall meeting is to answer questions and update the citizens of Corona on what we're doing. The next day, I've been invited to Norco College to talk about city politics, and apparently the classroom of people interested got so large that they've expanded the classrooms. So we'll see what I have to say there too. Could be dangerous on both levels. With that, I think we've covered it all. The next meeting of this council is October 16th, 2024. The meeting's adjourned.